Confidence, it's a word we hear so often, but what does it really mean? Is it something we're born with, or is it something we build? Today, I want to share a story that will take you on a journey of doubt, discovery, and ultimately belief in oneself. Stay with me, because this story might just change the way you see yourself. Let me tell you about Sam. Sam was an ordinary young man in his 20s, living in a small town nestled between rolling hills. Sam had a dream. He wanted to be a musician. Not just any musician, but one who could make people feel something deep inside. One who could stand on a stage and hear the world sing along. But every time he picked up his guitar, doubt whispered louder than his strings. Sam's room was his sanctuary, filled with posters of his idols. People like Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, and Jimi Hendrix. He spent hours practicing in front of his mirror, imagining the roar of a crowd. But the moment he stepped outside, the world felt too big, too critical. One day, his best friend Sia came over. She found Sam staring at a flyer crumpled on his desk. "What's this?" she asked, picking it up. Sam sighed. "It's for a local talent show, but I'm not good enough. Who'd want to listen to me?" Sia raised an eyebrow. "Are you serious? You're incredible, Sam. You just don't see it." "Sia," he said, shaking his head, "there are people out there who've been doing this for years. I'll make a fool of myself." Sia leaned in, her voice firm. "Sam, the only fool is the one who never tries. Confidence isn't about knowing you'll win. It's about showing up anyway." Sam laughed nervously, but Sia's words stayed with him long after she left. Now the days turned into weeks, and the talent show drew closer. Sam practiced harder than ever, but the mirror in his room became his greatest enemy. Every time he looked at himself, all he saw were flaws, hands that fumbled, a voice that wavered, a boy pretending to be a musician. But something changed one evening. As he strummed his guitar, his father knocked on the door. "Mind if I listen?" his dad asked. Sam hesitated but nodded. After a few songs, his father smiled. "You know, when I was your age, I was terrified of speaking in front of people. I thought I'd embarrass myself every time I opened my mouth." Sam blinked. "You? But you're so confident now." "Because I learned something," his father said, sitting beside him. "Most people aren't judging you as harshly as you think. They're too busy worrying about their own flaws. If you can quiet that voice in your head, you'll find that you're stronger than you realize." That night, Sam decided to take a leap of faith. He signed up for the talent show. The day of the talent show arrived. Sam stood backstage, his guitar feeling heavier than ever. He peeked through the curtain and saw the audience, faces he knew, strangers he didn't. His palms were sweaty and his heart pounded like a drum. Sia appeared by his side. "You've got this," she said, giving his shoulder a squeeze. When Sam's name was called, he took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. The lights blinded him for a moment, but then he saw something. His father in the front row, nodding with encouragement, and Sia cheering louder than anyone else. He closed his eyes, letting his fingers find the strings. The first few notes wavered, but as the melody grew, so did his confidence. By the second verse, he wasn't playing for the audience anymore. He was playing for himself. When he finished, there was a moment of silence. Then the room erupted into applause. Sam couldn't believe it. He had done it. He had faced his fear, and for the first time, he felt the power of believing in himself. That night wasn't the end of Sam's journey, it was the beginning. He didn't win the talent show, but that didn't matter. What mattered was that he showed up, that he proved to himself he could do it. Over the next year, Sam played at more open mics, small gigs, and even recorded his first song. Each performance wasn't perfect, but with every strum of his guitar, his confidence grew. And do you know what Sam realized? Confidence isn't about being the best. It's about showing up, trying, and believing that you're enough just as you are. Sam's story reminds us of something important. Confidence doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from within. It's built every time we face our fears, every time we silence the doubts and take that leap of faith.